What if I told you that doing 1,000 crunches every day and eating nothing but salad could actually make your belly fat worse? I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me because what I'm about to share will completely flip everything you think you know about losing stubborn belly fat on its head. You've probably been there, standing in front of the mirror, frustrated beyond belief, wondering why that stubborn belly fat just won't disappear no matter how hard you try. You've cut calories. You've sweated through countless workouts. Maybe you've even tried those weird belly fat burning teas that taste like grass clippings. But here's the thing that nobody talks about, and it's probably the reason you're struggling. Your belly fat isn't just about what you eat or how much you exercise. In fact, there are 3 invisible enemies working against you right now. And until you understand what they are and how to fight them, you'll keep spinning your wheels no matter how perfect your diet is. I'm talking about cortisol, insulin resistance, and sleep deprivation. These 3 hormonal disruptors are like a secret conspiracy happening inside your body, and they're specifically designed to hold on to belly fat like it's going out of style. But here's the good news. Once you understand how these work, you can actually turn them into your allies instead of your enemies. Let's start with cortisol, which I like to call the belly fat storage hormone. Now, cortisol isn't inherently bad. It's actually supposed to help you deal with stress and danger. Back when our ancestors were running from saber-toothed tigers, cortisol would flood their system, giving them the energy to either fight or flee. The problem is, your body can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and your boss yelling at you in a meeting. Every time you're stressed, whether it's from work, relationships, traffic, or even from extreme dieting, your body pumps out cortisol. And here's where it gets really interesting. Cortisol has a favorite place to store fat, and you guessed it, it's right around your midsection. This isn't some cruel joke by evolution. There's actually a reason for this. Your belly area is closest to your liver, which is like your body's metabolic command center. When cortisol stores fat there, it's creating a quick energy reserve that can be rapidly converted to fuel if needed. The problem is, in our modern world, we're constantly stressed, but we never actually need that emergency fuel. So it just sits there, accumulating day after day. But here's what makes this even more sinister. Belly fat tissue actually produces its own cortisol. That means the more belly fat you have, the more cortisol your body makes, which creates even more belly fat. It's like a vicious cycle that feeds on itself. This is why some people can eat the same foods and do the same exercises as others, but still struggle more with belly fat. Their cortisol system is stuck in overdrive. Now you might be thinking, okay, so I just need to stress less, right? Well, that's part of it, but there's another player in this game that's even more powerful, and that's insulin resistance. Insulin is like your body's storage hormone. Every time you eat, especially carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises, and insulin gets released to help shuttle that sugar into your cells for energy. But here's what happens when this system gets broken. When you constantly eat foods that spike your blood sugar, or when you're chronically stressed, or when you don't get enough sleep, your cells start to become resistant to insulin's signal. It's like they're putting up a "closed for business" sign. So insulin keeps knocking louder and louder, which means your body has to produce more and more insulin to get the same job done. And here's the kicker. High insulin levels are like a direct command to your body to store fat, especially around your midsection. Even worse, when insulin levels are high, your body literally cannot burn fat. It's physiologically impossible. You could be eating in a calorie deficit, but if your insulin is constantly elevated, your body will break down muscle tissue for energy before it touches your fat stores. This is why some people can eat a low-calorie diet and actually get fatter while losing muscle. Their insulin resistance is so severe that their body is stuck in fat storage mode, regardless of how little they're eating. It's not about willpower or dedication, it's about hormones. But wait, there's a third piece to this puzzle that ties everything together, and it might be the most important one of all: sleep deprivation. Most people think of sleep as just rest time, But sleep is actually when your body does most of its hormonal regulation and repair work. When you don't get enough quality sleep, it's like throwing a wrench into your entire metabolic machinery. First, sleep deprivation directly increases cortisol production. Studies show that people who sleep less than 6 hours per night have significantly higher cortisol levels throughout the day. Remember, more cortisol equals more belly fat storage. Second, lack of sleep makes your cells more insulin resistant. Just one night of poor sleep can reduce your insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. That means your body has to produce way more insulin to handle the same amount of food, which puts you right back into fat storage mode. But here's where it gets really cruel. Sleep deprivation also messes with two other hormones called leptin and ghrelin. Leptin is your "I'm full" hormone, and ghrelin is your "I'm hungry" hormone. When you don't sleep enough, leptin drops and ghrelin skyrockets. So not only is your body primed to store more fat, but you're also constantly hungry and never feel satisfied when you eat. Think about the last time you had a really bad night's sleep. Were you craving sugary, high-carb foods the next day? That wasn't a lack of willpower. That was your hormones driving those cravings because your body was desperately trying to get quick energy to compensate for the sleep deficit. Now, here's where this all comes together in a perfect storm. Stress increases cortisol, which makes you crave high-sugar foods and disrupts your sleep. Eating those high-sugar foods spikes insulin and makes insulin resistance worse. Poor sleep increases both cortisol and insulin resistance, while making you hungrier. Each problem feeds into the others, creating a downward spiral that gets harder and harder to break. This is why traditional diet and exercise advice often fails. You're trying to fight a hormonal problem with a caloric solution. It's like trying to fix a computer virus by typing faster. You're working really hard, but you're not addressing the root cause. So what can you actually do about this? How do you break the cycle and get these hormones working for you instead of against you? First, let's talk about managing cortisol. This isn't just about meditation and bubble baths, although those can help. The most effective way to lower cortisol is through something called stress periodization. Instead of trying to eliminate all stress, which is impossible, you want to create periods of stress followed by periods of recovery. High-intensity exercise is actually a form of beneficial stress, but only if you recover properly afterward. The problem is when stress becomes chronic and unrelenting. So you want to be strategic about when and how you stress your body, and equally strategic about when you allow it to recover. For insulin resistance, the most powerful tool is something called time-restricted eating, or intermittent fasting. By giving your body regular breaks from food, you allow insulin levels to drop, which not only improves insulin sensitivity, but also allows your body to actually access and burn stored fat. But here's the key. You don't want to combine aggressive calorie restriction with intermittent fasting, especially if you're already stressed or sleep deprived. That's just adding more stress to an already overloaded system. Instead, focus on eating nutrient-dense foods during your eating windows, and don't worry too much about calories initially. Sleep is non-negotiable. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep consistently, nothing else you do will work optimally. Your room should be cool, dark, and quiet. No screens for at least an hour before bed. And here's a game changer that most people don't know. Your core body temperature needs to drop to trigger sleep. So taking a hot bath or shower before bed actually helps, because when you get out, your body temperature drops rapidly, signaling to your brain that it's time to sleep. The beautiful thing about addressing these three factors is that they all support each other. Better sleep improves stress resilience and insulin sensitivity. Lower stress improves sleep quality and reduces cortisol. Better insulin sensitivity gives you more stable energy and better stress tolerance. Your belly fat isn't stubborn because you lack willpower or because you're not trying hard enough. It's stubborn because you've been fighting the wrong battle. Start addressing cortisol, insulin resistance, and sleep quality, and you'll finally start seeing the changes you've been working so hard for. Your body wants to let go of that excess fat. You just need to create the right hormonal environment to let it happen.